Okay, I'm submitting the form right now as we speak. Reason for reevaluation, like work-related documentation. Should I put this?
You could put that, but are you gonna mention that I've been saying that the food is poisoned?
No, I'm not mentioning any details right now. It's just request reason. That's it. I need to put like one sentence just for them to know what's the reason for clients to request this conversation with psychiatrist. That's it. Okay.
Well, can you put it or not?
This is not for that. Like, how do you think that would look? The client was poisoned. Her food was poisoned. What's the connection? Food poisoned and requesting psychiatric, like speaking with psychiatrist. If your food was poisoned, you might as well want to go to doctor.
Well, that's the thing. I've been like consistent with this and telling you about the FBI harassment. I may not have gotten everything on tape or whatever, or and not to all the sources, but people do know that I've been consistently laying this claim on them, and they still have not investigated, with priority in regards to, yeah, the food is laced with something, they should take it to a forensic lab. Yeah, there's a bunch of people living in these buildings that are FBI agents, and yeah, I'm being stalked. Yes, my information is being given out to everybody.
I mean, let's try to maybe when you receive the call from the clinic and you would speak to psychiatrist, how would you put this? Like, how would you want to make this conversation? What is your request to them?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just a general request because honestly, like, yeah, um, I could drag this out maybe by being coy and clever, and that's just what I've been doing to, keep people's hands off my son because, again, this is a pigsty and not real healthcare. And I just told you about what kind of testing they would do to rule out IBS. And I even told you about the movie that I watched on HBO. That if I had legs, I would kick you. And it seems to me like, why are we doing this intellectual dance? Like why
What reaction do you expect to me when you talk about the movies? Because again, if you have any physical symptoms, it is for medical professionals to request it. Let's go back to
But if it's a real conspiracy and they have a hidden agenda, then this medical professional should be scrutinized, and now is the time.
You've been in the clinic for 10 years and you've been working with multiple therapists. How does it look like to you that we can...
Well, we could talk about my first therapist. She was not really, she felt like more of a kind person, but she was only with me for like a couple of months, and she sort of even was calming because when I told her things of that nature, that I couldn't leave my house, I came back to bed bugs. I did tell her because she wasn't tyrannical, and what happened was she like gave me like a box of tissues. She said she was getting married, but it almost like in my mind like she was alluding to the fact like...
Were you going in person?
Yeah, I was going in person, and it was in my mind like she's alluding to the fact that, yeah, you need some forensic evidence on this. I don't want to be this dirty. I don't want to go this deep. But my second one, I do believe she tried to hurt my son. She tried to slam his fingers in a door, because he was an unruly toddler, and we had to wait around in the waiting room for like 3 hours at a time. They had their little kids pick on him, slam him into a wall. I had to grab the little kid's hand and ask, where's the mother or whatever, because it's always me that they're trying to make the psychotic lunatic out of, when really this is a bunch of corrupt creeps with nothing to do. They lucked out, and they really have no scruples and no morals, and they're very short-sighted in where this is going. The FBI has been like horrible. They do need accountability.
Okay. So look, let's continue with this.
And then,
You
coincidentally, she happened to leave when I let fly that she's a pig. I just said that because I was like very agitated. I do get agitated, but I believe it's the atmosphere and the pressure from the situation, And coincidentally, she just decided to leave to another state. So, you tell me what is going on with this.
I cannot tell you because I'm asking you the question. If you have multiple evidences and written down facts that your food was poisoned, that when you go to a big store, if it's not moms and pops small local store, but a big shopping center or a big grocery store, why is exactly what you picked is what was poisoned? Why is this exactly?
Sometimes what I pick isn't poisoned. That's how I survive, because sometimes I pick something nutritious, but it's like an immense responsibility to try to find something to eat that's not laced with something when almost everything is, And aside from that, they do stalk me, and I have this friend that's witness to this as well. But since things have gotten so lax in the FBI and NYC, I feel like, people have been worried about coming out and saying, listen, this is my friend, this is worrisome. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to destroy this person's life?
10 years, my question is why they did not succeed in your mind? It's been 10 years since you've been at least working with the clinic.
Oh, why didn't they succeed? Because they're really lame a-holes. They're really lame. They want to be superficially cute and pretend that it's kindness that they're servicing, and pretend that I'm the odd one out, that I'm really a psycho, when reality is that I really believe in the law, and I really believe people should have better morals than, to go out there on some sort of quota and pretend that they're investigating something when there's hell going on in the city, when they should investigate, themselves maybe, for sitting here taking away apartments from the homeless, for taking away jobs from people, for taking away food from people and making a giant mess, But I'm being a stand-up lady right now. Half of this has been like, oh my God, pain and screams, and they do put viruses in my food, and my head's not always clear when your sinus is clogged. And I have been in a rush to try to teach my son something when I know for a fact no one else will. So,
well, let's make this. I submitted the form. You will receive a call. I don't know when, but you will receive a call. If you would like to receive a call faster from the clinic, I strongly recommend you to call them yourself, and maybe some of the things you can mention to the psychiatrist in order for them to provide some.
I'm at the point in my life, people don't want to hear me. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, but I'm at the point where I'm thinking these people don't want to hear me. They don't want to go deep with this. But I feel like, if I feel confident enough that somebody was literally holding my son's hand right here with me, then I would do it. I would mention all of these things. Because I have no confidence in the system. It gives you the runaround with, again, superficial people. Maybe they think they're being cute. Maybe they think, these feds have kids they need to feed. How dare we scrutinize their behavior? What happens if they get fired? That's what I've been thinking. But the reality is that they wouldn't care if my bladder burst. They wouldn't care about the long-term effects to me or my son's health. They don't care that they're feeding us hormones. They don't care I have a friend that eats with us. They don't care he got a hemorrhoid. They don't care he had seizures. He almost died falling down the stairs.
Ilona, when you're listing me all of those things, I wonder, what is this that you want? What is your best belief in our work together, how to address this? Because with your friends...
I want people to be adults and responsible and not be so short-sighted, because I don't know your feelings, because people try to, again, they mistake delirium for positivity. They think nobody will ever get to this. But to me, I always, think, am I delirious thinking that maybe now the tables are turning because they have better investigations, and it's kind of
Okay.
happening all over the land, and people are noticing me, like, you know.
As we also, you see, what I would love to look at is what are your like sense of agency? What is this that you're doing to change the situation? What are the attempts for the situation to change? What do you want for yourself? Because you're listing me all of this, but I struggle to see what is the change part. So okay, you mentioned you at least try, and sometimes you find food that is not poison. That's how you survive.
I survive. I feel like, maybe I'm the figurehead for this, I just survive. Maybe I'm like a big wooden dummy or a Muppet, but I know it's real, This sense of, like, well-being that I have, it's not just from me. And I think that scares people that are against me, because this is not how society should work. They shouldn't be poisoning the food. They shouldn't.
I understand this, and maybe
police should not be ignoring major crimes because they're scared of a gang of criminals.
Let's try to go from, Ilona, I will stop you here for a second. First of all, let's go from more grandiose things to smaller ones.
Smaller ones.
What you can control right now. You started session with addressing the paper that you need to present with for this work situation. What's the name of this?
I don't know because they didn't call me back.
Evaluation.
I don't know because they didn't call me back. And again, because they've permeated so many of, these, agendas, these public welfare agendas, it's difficult for me to deal with it because they're throwing things at my head day in, day out, And at night, we've got our neighbors here.
We have to wrap up. As we have to wrap up right now, what I'm leaving you with is this ability to call the clinic and settle the appointment with psychiatrists to talk about this stuff. And hopefully,
so did you put in for it, or I have to call back?
I requested. It was a request. It's not a form. It's a little request. So
okay, because they didn't call me back yet either. I don't know. And again, like, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but I wouldn't love a hospital ride, but I've steadied myself. Because if you keep doing this, if you keep stalking someone, you keep poisoning their food, it's not, like, healthy,
If they won't contact you by Friday, I would recommend strongly to call clinic yourself. And until then, I will see you Wednesday, March 4th, okay? If anything else, if you feel like you are in danger, call 911. If you would like to speak to somebody just for mental health support.
If I wanted to speak to somebody in the interim before you come back, I could also call them and ask for somebody to fill in for you?
Speaking to somebody, yes.
Okay, because I was scared of doing this before again, but, I have an 11-year-old now. It's sort of different. He's conscious. He's conscious enough. It's sort of sad when people do this to little babies that aren't conscious enough. Sort of, I encourage you to watch this film with me because I think this was a very good film. If I had legs, I would kick you. And again, it's like, maybe it's something superficial to people who aren't in this garbage, but, again, a lot of people are doing this weird intellectual dance, and it's really disgusting because little kids do get hurt, and they're so good. I think it's a Oscar nominee. They talk about squishy foods, like how this kid couldn't eat squishy foods, and it really triggered me because I had that feeling too, because I'm always looking out for what can they lace easily.
Let's talk about it when I get more information about the movie, but right now I have to go because it's 1:06, and I will talk to you in March. But again, if anything, you can call clinic and request to speak to someone if you feel like that you want to, or call 988, or if you feel like you're in danger, call 911, okay?
Okay, take care, because, what can I say?
Take care. Bye.
Take care.